Law enforcement authorities say it could be the creepiest house in Mason County and the perfect setting for filming a horror movie. Besides that, it's an active crime scene linked to a Seattle-based criminal case. The home, about 2 miles north of Shelton on State Route 3, is owned by three brothers who face child pornography charges. They are 82-year-old Charles Emery, 80-year-old Thomas Emery, and 70-year-old Edwin Emery of Seattle. Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury says Donald Emery, the oldest of the Emery brothers, owned and lived in the Shelton-area home before he died in November. Salisbury explains how the case started.
Fairly recently, in the last few months, one of the brothers is now deceased. Had a family member come in to try to resolve some of the issues with the family properties and things, and discovered some child pornography items in a home in Seattle. And then came to this property, looked through the property and found other things that were disturbing, and notified the Seattle Police Department. So Seattle started a child pornography case, which led them, knowing about this property, after investigating the property in Seattle and the circumstances, led them to Mason County, to this residence, which was the first family residence. And from there, we began an investigation here into the issues of child pornography.
Investigators in Seattle found information that led them back to the Shelton-area home.
At some point during their investigation, Seattle uncovered some information that led them to believe that there was the possibility that there could be human remains here within their search warrant. Seattle brought in cadaver dogs from the King County Sheriff's Office, and they searched this property that you're on today. They reacted in a couple spots, responded to the possibility that there could be something in a couple areas here.
Investigators, with the help of Mason County Public Works, began to remove old structures and junk cars to dig for possible human remains. Salisbury says 14 dump truck loads of filled dirt were removed from the scene and taken to a different location where investigators sifted through the soil.
We had investigators from the Seattle Police Department, the King County Sheriff's Office. We called the Federal Bureau of Investigations, assisted with us, the Grays Harbor County Sheriff's Office, Mason County Sheriff's Office, the Washington State Patrol sent some investigators out to do some work for us. Department of Homeland Security, which is associated with the International Crimes Against Children Task Force out of Seattle. And so all these people were involved in working on this case, as well as we had assistance from the Shelton Police Department on crime scene security and the Squaxin Island Tribal Police.
Some 40 investigators from several law enforcement agencies got involved at the scene. The sheriff says no human remains were found.
There were a few small items found that were undetermined, that were going to be looked at by Dr. Kathy Taylor, a forensic pathologist.
Salisbury describes what was found inside the Emery home.
The house is very messy inside. It did have pornographic materials inside the house, and it was pretty filthy inside. Seattle recovered some items of interest in there, magazines. I believe there was some VCR tapes, and there was some carousels of slides that are being gone through by the Seattle Police Department.
The sheriff talked about where the child pornography case goes next.
Now we're working for the victims, and there were a number of people that indicated that they had known these people or were possible victims of these individuals. I've even had phone calls. I had a personal phone call to my residence regarding a person relating some information from many, many years ago, back in the 1970s, as related to these individuals. So now our detectives are doing all the follow-up on evidence that was received out of here, looking through all kinds of documents and papers and things and how they might be related to the case, as well as following up with people who may have been victims and others that have said they were victims.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.